Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are going to go through challenges 8, 9, and 10 today, which will lead us almost to the end of the SQL injection series. We will then carry on with the next challenges, maybe cross-site scripting or something else. But for today, we are looking at the MySQL, where did it go? SQL injection attack, querying the database type and version on MySQL and Microsoft. Okay. The lab contains a SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. You can use a union attack to retrieve the results from an injected query to resolve the lab display database version string. So similar to the previous one, we can grab the running database version and output it to the page. So that's what we're going to do. We'll click on this. Again, we'll just go through the normal steps. So let's just put in the apostrophe here, like we did before, and see if it breaks. Great, it breaks. So instead of doing a union attack here to enumerate how many columns there are, I'm going to do a order by. The order by will allow us to determine how many columns there are. So we can do order by 1. And because it's MySQL, we don't do the double dash. What we do is a hash. But obviously, as it's in the URL bar, a hash means something else. It's an anchor location. So we can do %23, I believe it is, which should be a URL encoded hash. So order by 1. We know there's at least one column, and we do 2. Yeah, definitely 2 columns already. 3. So there's 2 columns, because on the third one it broke. So we know that there's only 2. And then what we can do is a union select null, %23, because we know there's only 2 columns. Again, let me show you, if you did a third one, it'd break, because there's only 2 columns there. So we know that down here there's probably another row that we're just not seeing because it's null. If we did 1, 2, 3, 4, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Great. So what we need to do is get the MySQL version number out to the page. And MySQL has a function called version. So just like this. And that should, 8.028. And that's the end of the lab. There's a couple of other ways that you can do it. So you can do @@ version in most cases, which again, you get the 828. So yeah, there's a couple of ways of doing it. So let's go back to the lab and move on to the next one. Okay, so the next challenge says SQL injection attack listing the database contents on a non-Oracle database. This lab contains a SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. We know this bit. The application has a login function and the database contains a table that holds the username and passwords. You need to determine the name of the table and the columns it contains, then retrieve the contents from the table to obtain the username and password of all the users. To solve the lab, log in as the administrator. Cool, let's do this. I'm going to guess that it's MySQL or MySQL, as that's what the previous one was. We can test that again with doing basically what we did last time. So let's figure out what type of database it is now. Let's do an order by 1, %23, -- Okay, cool. So 2, 3. No, so we know that again there's 2 columns in there. Union select 1, 2. Sorry. Null. And if we select version in here, okay, so in this case it's Postgres. So I'm not very familiar with Postgres, so what we can do is Google it. We go to Google, and we'll look for PostgreSQL information schema. And if Postgres has the information schema, then it shouldn't be a problem. I believe it does, because what it looks like it says here. If we have a look for tables. Yeah, okay, cool. So it looks similar to the MySQL sort of attack that I would have done. So we want to select table name and, null's fine, from information _ schema.tables. There we go. We've got all of the table names here. These are all the tables in the database. All the known tables that have been sort of made are in this table. So what we want to look for is something called users, or something similar to users. Users bedcoy. I'm going to guess this is probably randomly generated. So let's go into our note editor again. Nope, don't care. Let's just make this a little bit bigger. So we got users, and in here we need a username and a password field. Similar to the table name, we also have column name, where from columns where table name is equal to users bedcoy. Let's just grab that. So just to show what I did there, we did a union attack with we know the column is called column name, and we're selecting it from the information schema.columns table, or the table columns is in the information schema database, I should say. And we're looking for all the column names where the table name is the user's bedcoy thing that we found. As you can see, we've got 2 columns here that we can look at. So let's take a note of these. That's the password one. Oh, let's just, and this will be the username one. So now what we want to do is something like apostrophe union select username. In fact, let's just copy and paste these. That one and that one from users underscore bedcoy dash. And that should give us the username and password of everything. More to the point of the administrator user. And we have Wiener or Wiener, and we have Carlos, and we have administrator. Let's just grab these and put them in our notes here. Oh, let's just add that A back in because I missed out. Then we go over to the My Account section. And I believe it was just administrator, add administrator, and use this password here. And then we solved the lab. There you go. So that was how we used an order by attack, a union select attack, and we interrogated the information schema database, specifically the tables table and the columns table. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. This is the final one that we're going to do today. But this one says SQL injection attack listing the database contents on Oracle. The application has a login function and the database contains a table that holds the username and password. So it's going to be the same as the last one, but with Oracle. You need to determine the names of the tables and the columns it contains, then retrieve the contents of the table to obtain the username and password of all users. To solve this lab, log in as the administrator. That's fine. No problem. Let's just access the lab. And we'll just go through the same steps again. The apostrophe breaks it, and we know it's Oracle this time. So we are going to check for the order by, and I'm not 100% sure whether this actually works on Oracle. Okay, it does. So it's not 1 column. It's not, well, it could be 2 columns. It is 2 columns. Okay, so it's not 3. So if we go back to here and just do union select A and B from dual, because if you remember in the previous episode, I said that the Oracle databases need the dual table, or need a table. Okay, that was convenient that I accepted strings there. So in Oracle, there is a table called all tables, and you can select the table name from that. And there is a table called all table contents, I believe. And that is where you would find the column name. So we'll work through it. So here we can do null and null, because we only want to select one thing anyway. So here we can do table name from all tables. And that should give us a list of all the tables. And in here, we can look for something that looks like users. There we go. We've got a user table here. So we found the users table. Let's check this into our notes. That's from the previous challenge. So that's the users table. And now we want to find the column name for that table. So I think it's column underscore name, similar to table name. And I think it's all table contents or all table columns. We'll do a quick Google because I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. Oracle SQL injection, all table columns. Let's have a look at the pentest monkey sheet and look for all tables. Yeah, we got that one. List columns. List select column name from all table columns where table. Okay, all tab columns. There's a little bit wrong there. All tab columns where table name is equal to our table that we had listed. And that's this one here. Let's put that one in there. And we should, yep, we have the username and password columns. Pop these in the notes. And then our payload should be union select from this one and comment off the rest. So let's grab that and put it in our URL bar here. And we should, yep, see a username and password. So let's just grab these ones and then back in our notes and log in as this user. So administrator, just going to copy and paste and Copy and paste the password. Perfect. We solved the lab. So that's the end of this video. If you learned anything, or you like the video, or you just want to support me, drop me a like, follow the channel, and have a great day. Awesome. Take it easy.